Okay, so the cave didn't really work out, so we're gonna try something different.
Allow me a word of advice. As your senior, you are a mere visitor to the Round Table. Nothing more. A house guest. Yet to earn their keep. Remember your place, newcomer.
That was rude. So I didn't finish the dialogue, so that's why he's like that. Hello.
Let's great anchor until it will drag across the far. But the so brave seek to become letter. All day is and I
Yep.
will defend. Now let do.
Mid-C tier, only because she's very valuable in the fact that she can use remembrances to give you equipment, and also you can buy boss equipment off of her, which normally would put her at like an A to an S tier, but she has so much dialogue, and I hate her voice. It sounds so dry and scratchy. And it's like, oh, no.
I thank you. So what can I do?
Hello, Dielos.
You again, is it? The recusants sent a lackey. Can you believe they invited me to join them? Now, after what they did, I can scarcely believe it myself. You might be surprised to learn I took them up on the offer. Then I only had to ask. It's on Mount. That's where they hide. Just you wait. You'll rue the tale of...
So, Volcano Manor killed his servant, and then came down and were like, hey, wanna join? He's B tier. He's decent. How is my favorite NPC?
We meet again after all. I apologize for any offense given by my bearing.
Oh, not
but
at all.
I'm quite unable to move, you see. So, what do you need? The misshapen corpse under Stormvale. That is a sacred relic of the Black Knives plot, as that famed night of assassination is known. It happened during the golden age of the Erd Tree, long before the shattering of the Elden Ring. Someone stole a fragment of the Rune of Death from Malekith, the Black Blade, and on a bitter night, murdered Godwyn the Golden. That was the first recorded death of a demigod in all history, and it became the catalyst. Soon, the Elden Ring was smashed, and thus sprang forth the war known as the Shattering. I once wished to become a scholar, you see. I've spent many an hour scouring the archives for knowledge of that fateful plot. The world has grown crooked, and if you intend to put it to rights, you'd better understand what happened to make it this way. And that thing is to blame for the shape I'm in now. I urge the utmost caution. Don't disturb the corpse more than necessary.
Of course. Yeah, that's the half of the side quest that I ignore.
So you've met Dee. Dee is an old friend. We found ourselves journeying together, but our paths, though that's hot. Dee was that he discussed the centipede. As long as then we may be, if only I could, and if they were... well done. Something to mark.
Yep.
Actually, no need to be.
Thank you. So, him and him used to be friends, but he wants to destroy everything that lives in death. He wants to, hang out with it. He wants to vibe with it, be friends. Nefeli!
I thought you'd Nefeli Lou. I'm glad to see I found it in you defeated. Make good use. I don't intend.
Thank you.
I wonder if he's in his study. If you haven't, old father is, I'm sure, to.
Nefeli's great. Also, you clown of a human being.
You then I am known as Gideon Ofnir. As a tarnished who wishes to stand before the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord, I am accumulating knowledge. To be all-knowing. You now belong to a select group of fellows.
Yep.
You'll be after then, as you, the inheritors, we of the Godric, the General, Greater, Morgan, and
I know.
you'll still be...
I don't care.
I achieved my door. I took it in, though, so I put it to do not hesitate, despite her.
Okay. So this is just information about the 5 main shard bearers. And like, where you can find them. Not very important. About
Great,
Roderica.
are you here for...
Yeah, I don't have Hugues yet. So,
Now, those of a challenger who's... Now, look at you. Those eyes tell a story of a challenger who's felled his mark. Find 'em well. Now lay out your arms.
I love him so much. He's great. I really don't want to upgrade things to where I'll upgrade this just because I can get 2s pretty easily in a bit. But I don't want to upgrade too much too early. Question is, do I go off to Caelid first? Because there are a few important things in Caelid. Or do I go to Caria Manor first? I think I'll do Caria Manor. Mostly just to see if the Ranni quest has been ruined by me forgetting one singular piece of dialogue. Because that has happened before. In my 13, 14 times beating the game, I have ruined Ranni's side quest twice. The first time was I missed a single piece of dialogue with like Kale and Blythe, where you hear Blythe, you go talk to Kale, get the finger snap, go back and help Blythe, and you can go back and you can talk to Kale, and he'll tell you a little bit about Blythe. And there was one time where I didn't go back and get that extra bit of dialogue. And apparently that ruined the entire quest. Nice. Ow. Second time was me beelining to Altus Plateau without going and killing Radon, which that ruins her quest for some reason. Like, I don't know what specifically about Altus Plateau ruins it. Like, I know that you have to kill Radon to start moving the skies again. Or start moving the stars. But it's like, I feel like you could do that at multiple points throughout the game. Instead of like, before this one very specific, maybe a tiny bit arbitrary point. You are free to not shoot me. I know I probably should kill those guys. Like, to get the runes, because I need to get to 28 intelligence. So I'm a full-on 10 levels away. And that's if I invest purely into intelligence, which is not a very good idea. But it's like, eh. Wait. I guess we can. At least these first few guys, since they're in our way. Oop. And down here. I remember the item locations, but not what most of the items actually are. Unless they're important or like very unique. Like I remember this is the Arumi. The unique whip. I mean it's not like a unique weapon, but it's very flexible and made out of metal. Which isn't something you see very often, so I think it's unique. You are free to ignore us. I do not want to deal with the wolves. Like, I know the gray wolves in general have more health, but something about that specific wolf is, or the wolves in this little area here, they just have way, way more health than normal. And they dodge a lot more. And I feel like they do more damage. That might just be me, but no. Bonk. Bonk. Give me your row of fruit. Give me your raspberries. Hi. I know you could just run straight up. Just run straight past the giant. Ignore and probably get to the door in time, but where's the fun in that? I like doing my little loop-de-loop method. It feels a lot more safe, feels a lot more consistent. He is staring at me? So did his weapon just bounce off? What a fool! Ow. I usually run over here because you have to go into the center pool where the water is in order to spawn in the boss. But I also don't want enemies aggroed on me, especially if I'm going to be spawning in ashes, because that can lead to some problems. Like, your ashes really like focusing on the normal enemies. Ow. Yeah, I did not get set up for this fight. But hopefully it'll be fine. Ooh. Using magic takes a lot of stamina, wow. Hello. Oh, it takes a lot of stamina. I look at my stamina and it's just like, it's all gone. After 3 or 4 casts. Okay, good, good, good. Oh no. Love to see that Loretta, at least it looks like, is pretty popular in the fandom. For just being like a decently balanced fight. There we go. Took all of my FP. All of the everything. Ooh. 20 intelligence. Run towards the broken chair. On my first run, because that's kind of hidden, I didn't realize that there was anything there, and I thought that was just a dead end. Which almost made me miss Ranni's quest. Which I missed it on my second run, and I think it was the 3rd or 4th run that I missed it again. So I missed it the first time as well. That would have been a big yikes. Yeah. I love how the wolves are there to signify Blythe later. You want to keep that dragon alive. Both because killing it doesn't give you anything. Like, you get it to half health and it just bails. Which, there's one other dragon boss that does that, to my knowledge. Please, 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 don't be broken.
A tarnished here. Thou must have some business in mind to come all this way, though I have no memory of inking.
Oh, that dialogue was a little different, because I missed her this run. Again, with Dalios, it's like, if you miss an NPC, and you see him again later, their dialogue's a little different. I like that.
No reason in particular thou claimest. Intriguing. Then mayhaps fate hath steered thee to this encounter.
Maybe.
Wilt thou enter into my service? I am the witch Ranni. I stole death long ago, that I might one day upend the whole of it. Well?
Yes.
I see. A choice well made. Thou art a rare sword, but I require as much of those under my command. I anticipate good work from thee.
Okay.
Good. There is, in my service, a half-wolven warrior by the name of Blythe.
The best NPC.
I would have thee join him in... I have called... Ah, heed not. I am sure...
Yep. So, I mean, if you look at her choice of followers, because outside of the player, she's got 3. And they're pretty well-rounded.
I see. Yes, I am. I don't know what since I asked it. I reside. Come and pay me should you wish to be of actual service to Mistress Ranni. If it were up to me, I wouldn't. But who am I to stand against the wishes of my lady?
Good line. Okay. Because if you follow his quest, he tries to kill Ranni. Which I don't follow his quest for that exact reason. But she's got a sorcerer for range. She's got someone who excels in high strength for melee, and then she's got a blacksmith for like support.
Long time, friend.
Yeah.
Blythe. Have you forgotten?
Never.
Glad to have you in the service of Mistress Ranni. Well, getting right to business. I'm still in Limgrave. The eternal city of Nokron lies somewhere at the bottom of this land. I'm planning to see if I can. I'll see if I can. Don't keep me waiting.
So that's just from the Third Church America. Just follow the path until you get to where you find the map, and then you just take a left, like immediately. Which we already did that because it takes way too long.
Oh, again, the Carian royal families, I'm told. I will.
Yep.
I never. I who forgive. Let us get together.
Of course. Of course. Ronnie's really popular, and I always do her quest. As long as I don't break it. But I always do it because I really like Blythe, and I love his armor set and his weapon.
Ah, I shall see. And it will be this doll's still. I look. And it will be. I look.
But I don't really do it for Ranni. I mean, she's got a cool armor set and a cool voice, and I like that she's in a doll's body. Nice little callback to Bloodborne. Hello. Wait, with the dragon? At the end of the quest, with Blythe, if you kill the dragon, then you can't summon ashes to help you. So that's why we keep him alive.
Well, did you not read? Perhaps I'd like you to. Even you.
Of course.
Now I shall. Fine. I expect.
I would never survive in a world like this. Partially because it's deadly, but partially because I would look at this and go, I wonder what that tastes like.
I'm the only thing. Are we? And I have enough.
And, so yeah, I would not survive. Partially because I can't fight, partially because I'd be the idiot to try to eat something poisonous. Almost had a death fall, but it's fine. Caria Manor. Hello, Pydia. Hello, 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 hello.
Why not? But a little.
Riplack's nice arcane weapon if you want to do arcane but don't want to do bleed builds. Don't know why you'd want to do that, but that's all Pydia has for the most part, so gotta give him something. Celovus is like C tier, maybe a low B tier. Pydia's D tier just because they have nothing to them. There's no reason. Like, there's no reason to go with them. But we didn't ruin the quest by missing one line of dialogue, so that's good. That's good. So, you can't summon your horse here, but you can summon your horse here. Seems a little arbitrary, but okay. So, I think I'm going to go through this enough to get the Radon Festival, which then lets you fight Radon. And then after that, I'll saunter on off to Caelid. Get all the items. Or at least most of them. It's like there's a sorcery over there that I don't care for, but the ones that where it's like it's runes or smithing stones, those are both very important. Because runes and smithing stones are the two things that are always going to be important. Unless you're doing a run that very specifically is like, yeah, none of those. Which, I don't know why you do that. Why would you ever do a level 1 run? That's evil. There's a lot of stuff here that normally I'd be getting, but because I am denying basically all equipment, normally, well, not normally, but if it was an option, I would ignore those guys, but even if you sprint on your horse, they will come and attack you when you're talking to Blythe, so...
Ah. Good to see you. Apologies, mate. But I don't have much to report. I can see bloody Nokron right above me. But I'm absolutely stumped. I've tried all the gateways, to no avail. Perhaps it's time to ask Celibus. And recall that. Let's give him...
Remember Jack said that he thought he meant up there? But I always thought he meant up there, because he says he can see Nokron above him, and he's looking this way, so... I can see the mistake, though.
Besides, leave this place if either of us... And if we reach Celibus ready.
Yep. Of course, friend. Drop down. Drop up. Grab the item. Almost fall to my death. Probably should have just stayed on the horse. Stone Sword Key. Because those are important. They are rare. They are important. They are useful. And it's not until like the end of the game where you're like, I no longer need these. In the beginning of the game, you want as many as you could possibly get your hands on. And then, by the time you hit Mountaintop of the Giants, you're just sitting there going, why are you giving these to me? We're at the point of the game where these are worthless. Grab this. take the teleporter to skip this part. I mean, you could grab the Side of Grace. But there's no reason to. That's a boss who we can ignore. Because we are here for America's Star Seal. Which I don't think I've ever used. But I can see why people who use it would. Ghost 4. I mean, since this is a Battlemage run, we will be using Hugues, which I think requires Ghost. I still don't understand the Grave compared to Ghost. That was rude. But I don't understand it because Ghost is where all the like super special named very rare ones are. And so you'd think it'd be rare, but they're actually more common. Which simply doesn't make sense to me. Why would the one that is supposed to be more powerful but more rare be more common? It just doesn't make sense to me. And because they're more powerful and the upgrade materials are more common, it really pushes you in that direction. So there's not much, like there's not really an incentive to use the more common ones.
I've no time. The only thing are we and I haven't. Well, the task was not to only. Well, now's as good. Yes. There's a glint she owes. I'll write you a letter.
Yep. Thank you. And this is really the first time you need Selin.
There you are. Shall we commence? Well, Celivis, but fine. The stars, but long ago. Now here's if Jan so too.
Bit of a lore dump about Radon. So I tried farming for the hammer in the cave in Liurnia, but man, it did not work. I mean, I only tried it like 5 times or so, but it's a lot. You have to get through the entire area, and I was doing like no damage. Hold on, how many of these do we have? 5. Yeah. Sure, why not? But I just like was not stunning the Battlemage, and they took so much. They took so many hits to kill. Silver Centrina, which builds up sleep. I'm going to use it at some point, I have a lot of runs planned. Like a lot of different challenge runs. And like challenge runs, themed runs, they're pretty similar. But those are for later, when we have time. So, in there, you get a talisman that gets you 5 strength. Also, for these little things, if you can get to 8 strength, 17 dex, or if you just put the ashes on something else, like the short sword, for example, Ashes of War, you can just do this, and then you can just do, and then you just wait for those to come around. Or wherever it is. There it is. So you just go over top of wherever you see it run, which can take like 2 or 3 laps. But you just sit here, you wait for it to come around, these will automatically hit it. So that way you're not just wildly swinging whenever it comes by. Instead of swinging and hoping. Okay. But you can just... You can spawn these in and just sit here. Because you can put them on any weapon. It's like... Or any weapon that you can equip Ashes of War on. Most of them, at least. It's like... Short sword, 8 and 10. Pretty much everything fits that. Yeah. So that's how you get those. And pretty easy to do. Haha. And so it just adds a bit of consistency to those. Which is very nice if you're struggling. And then... Okay, well, he fell. You are free to die. Now, this is an interesting area, because normally with caves, it's like you go in and you can leave at any time. But you go in, there's a boss, and then it's a dead end. Okay. Here it's a little bit different. Here, you drop down and you can't get back up, so you have to get all the way through. But once you get all the way through, then you're free to leave. Smithing Stone 3 off of an enemy, nice. But also it's a tunnel. Again, the best kind of cave. Because they have upgrade materials. Also, the Cross Naginata. which is a spear that has like a halberd moveset instead of just poke, 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 poke. It's got some varied movements, which is very, very nice. Also, again, these guys take a lot of damage from magic. Yeah, it's like, this has a really good reward, because you can come here pretty much immediately and get Smithing Stone 4s. And it's just basic enemies. Now, yeah, they have more health than they normally do outside. But an enemy with higher stats than normal doesn't really matter that much if it's still a basic, easy to fight, easy to kill enemy. It's like, hello. Yeah, look, there's no one left alive. Oh, you survived that, okay. It's like, imagine the normal aristocrats. The like super basic tutorial enemies. Imagine one of those with like 10,000 HP. It's like, yeah, it sure has 10,000 HP, but it's still really easy to kill. Magma Worm in there, that drops a good katana. So normally, Iron Fist Alexander is here. I'm not sure how he got through these doorways, but he did. But because we activated the Radon Festival, he moved off over into the castle. Yeah, and that's how you get out. But it's like, they're still really easy, even if they have a bit more health than the normal ones. More health doesn't automatically mean hard. Like, more health tends to be harder than low health, but harder than easy doesn't necessarily mean hard. You are free to ignore me for the next 2 seconds, and thank you. So there's a colossal sword over in here. Hello. Ow. And I have heard it's good. I haven't used it yet. Because I'm trying to use every single weapon class. And I've gotten through most of them. But for colossal swords, it's like I used them on my first run, but not until like halfway through the game, because I didn't have the strength or equip load. And so for the first half of the game, I just went with straight swords and great swords. And then the second half, I went with great swords and colossal swords. And so I didn't really get to use the great sword, colossal sword. Which can be a little confusing that it's called a great sword, but it's not a great sword. But whatever. It's fine. Hello, dragon. Hello, Mr. Pacifist Dragon. Oh yes, very intimidating roar. But this is the dragon that does not want to fight. Oh yes, very intimidating roar. Doesn't mean anything if you won't come after me. Seems like you're being cooperative this time. Thank you. So you need to get a giant enemy to come over and break these statues. And they have smithing stones in them. But this one specific dragon with this one specific statue does not tend to be very willing to follow you, at least in the beginning. Thank you. Most of the time they just turn around and they're like, no. I have no idea how this is gonna go, because they might one-shot me. It's very possible that they could just one-shot me. Okay. Yeah. If you're far away, they like to use that. And if you're close up, they like to use the gavel. Ow. Alright, good news, it does not one-shot. Bad news, it's a big explosion that does a lot of damage. Yeah, that's what I mean when I talk about how they can just spam. Because they have infinite FP. Oh, that got through. And for the most part, it's fine. For the most part, they don't spam. But sometimes they do, and it's like, you just need to roll 5 times. And it's like, you better hope you didn't use all your stamina. Okay. Nice. Battlemage Hugues. And that gave me like a full level. Okay. That takes 122 FP. I can't use it because it takes too much FP. Ooh. Jump. Drop. Third drop. beautiful storytelling right here. Just a bunch of dead dogs. And then an Iron Maiden. But I didn't go through it on the last run, but I did come here and light this. And the reason why is you drop down, you're not getting back up. And also it's just a scarlet rot swamp, which is not good. But what is good is the reward at the end. It is a little scarab talisman that gives you, I think it's 20% more runes. Whatever the number it is, it gives you more runes, and it's good. Like, there's one grinding spot where the enemies give you 2,000 per kill, but with the talisman that you get from the cave, you get 2,400. Goodbye. There's another cave over there that requires stone sword keys. And when you get through it, you get a cool sword. But battle mages don't use that sword, so neither will I. And then with the Caelid trail, like, every major area has like these trails, and typically you follow them because they lead to a bunch of important landmarks. But the Caelid one has a bunch of enemies on the trail, but you still want to follow the trail because it leads you to a bunch of important places. So I usually ride slightly off to the side to avoid them. Now, this boss. Hello. First of all, that design is incredible. Second of all, I mentioned killing like a mid-game boss before it even got the chance to attack when we found the first Dragon Communion area. That's the boss. I used Rotten Breath to kill it before it could even attack. Before Dragon Breath got nerfed, or Rotten Breath. Which, I mean, 15 Faith, 12 Arcane is very low requirements and does a lot of damage. Or at least it used to before it got nerfed. It's still decent, and yeah, I was right. Dragon Fire, Dragon Claw, Dragon Maw. So this is the second one. The one that has more. So you got a sorcery one, an ice one, and a scarlet rot one. If you kill that boss, you get a stronger scarlet rot one. And then there's one where you can get like a stronger fire one, and so on and so forth. Which, hey, that's nice. But yeah, they require killing dragons. Like, you kill a dragon, you get their heart, and that's the payment for those. Which, there are quite a few dragons, so you're not really running out as long as you fight the dragons you see. Hello. Great helm, a wonderful helmet. I buy it basically every time. But battle mages don't use it, so neither will we. Golden seed. A miniature destroyed forest. Which is sad to see, but also mushrooms. Howl. Yeah, I tend to go a little slow. Do a little bit of meandering here to get these ones to follow us. And they follow us into here. And then you can just let those enemies fight as you sit back and relax. And because we triggered the Radon Festival, the little teleporter is now available. And also all the enemies here are gone. So you can run in and grab some items. Which I'll do probably after recording. Because we're at 56 minutes. And again, I don't like going over an hour. Hello, 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 hello. Cragblade. But yeah, early on, you can just sit here, let these enemies fight each other. The humans pretty much always win, and they're a lot easier to fight, so then you can just come in and kill the remaining humans. And free, easy ruins early on. So, yeah.